As fire teams continue to fight back the California wildfires and the area is left devastated, the Wounded Blue founder, Randy Sutton, is teaming up with country music stars to help raise money for those first responders. The organization is auctioning off signed guitars from some of the biggest country artists in the industry. Former Las Vegas police officer Randy Sutton and country music star Neal McCoy join me now. Randy, I got to tell you, you find your way into helping people no matter what. You're always Johnny on the spot, and here you are again. Tell us about this.
Well, we all know this, that the devastating fires and the catastrophe in the Los Angeles area is like nothing we've ever seen. And the officers of the LAPD, the deputies of the LA Sheriffs and California Highway Patrol are out there working 24/7. Well, they're also in the affected area, and many of these are being affected by the fires themselves, even though they're out there in the front lines. Some of them have lost their homes, just like the people that they serve. So the Wounded Blue, of course, is the National Assistance and Support Organization for injured and disabled officers, a nationwide charity that helps injured and disabled cops. Well, when we're looking at this type of catastrophe, teaming with the fantastic country music stars like Neal McCoy here, we're going to help raise money and help these officers who are being affected.
Neal, tell us about some of the guitars and maybe any of the other musical instruments that are being auctioned off.
Well, a lot of times when we go to these different functions, the promoter sometimes, or some of these organizations like the Wounded Blue, will find a way to get some of this stuff to you. So if there's a numerous artists at a festival or an event just recently down in Alabama, there were a bunch of big artists there, and they had to sign these guitars. We don't always know where they're going to go when we sign them, but they tell us some of the different ways that they can use them. So everybody there is always kind and take time to sign them. But find out more about the Wounded Blue and this Guitars for Cops thing that they're working with in particular. We just think it's pretty cool because, again, we didn't know too much about sometimes where they're going, and then Randall gets in here and tells you what they're doing, and I just can't say enough. I love police. I've done a lot of trips overseas, entertain troops, firefighters, stuff. But these policemen are on the front lines, and they're getting it done every day. And now they're struggling just like along with these firefighters with some of the tougher things that they're seeing and finding out. So we just want to help whenever we can.
Neal, do you envision that somewhere down the line there could actually also be some sort of maybe concert benefit, even to extend this even further? Because this is going to be one for the record books. The damage is going to be perhaps north of $150 billion.
It is, and sadly to say, just Neal McCoy showing up, probably not going to help a lot. But
I think you'll bring some friends with you, though.
I would definitely be willing to be there because I can find more time than some of these great big stars. They're booked pretty solid. But as a rule, we work a lot, but we would find a way to get there for this right thing. And you're right, it is one for the times. Sure.
You know, Randy, and what I'm happy about is that there's been a lot of criticism of the folks in charge, and believe me, they did themselves no favor in all the press conferences last week, congratulating one another. You know, they let their citizens down, but it's always important to make sure that we don't confuse the firefighters who wanted to have a hose in their hand, but there was no water coming out of the hydrant, or the first responders. You know, I mean, it's important that these folks who are the first responders know that the citizens of America, in this case, the citizens of Los Angeles, know that they're trying their best. They're putting their lives on the line, isn't it?
You're absolutely right, and I thank you for pointing that out. The men and women who are working the line, the men and women who are fighting the fires, they are heroes. They truly are. And I just talked to a deputy who told me a horrific story about finding a dead body and how that's affected him. And we're going to have many, many stories like that because emotional trauma leads to post-traumatic stress. And, of course, the Wounded Blue deals with that. But, you know, some of the country music artists, you mentioned, Travis Tritt is one of them, Tracy Morgan, Lori, Martina McBride, Tanya Tucker. There's so many amazing country artists who have jumped in and said, how can we help? Well, we're going to help. And that's why I'm so proud of the Wounded Blue, and I'm so proud of these country music artists who have come up and said, we're joining your team. And that's what the Wounded Blue is about.
30 seconds, though. I want you to put on your police officer hat now. We're going to have a press conference soon. The arsonists out there, people dressing up as law enforcement. There's some real lawlessness going on out there.
you're absolutely right. And this new district attorney, I think, is going to hold the line, prosecute people. The sheriff and the police chief, they're on it, and I think we're going to put some people in jail where they need to be.
Gentlemen, thank you both very, very much for your generous offer to those folks.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.